Cars on track now for the second last race of the 2019 Shannons Nationals. It is the XL Nationals brought to us this weekend by Misch's Mechanical, an Adelaide-based workshop. We thank them for their commitment. All the cars shod with their Federal tyres, 6 of their choice across this weekend. And I can't wait to see who gets the brakes and more. Hard Charger Award, big thanks to Brett Milburn, Darren Smith, and Nathan right next to me, Nathan Green right next to me, our expert commentator on all things XL. Cars have made their way all the way around. Nathan will have a quick look at the top 20 on the grid. Ben Grice has had a pretty good weekend so far. He's fronted up first and won each race so far leading into this one. So out and out favourite for this year's racing. Then it's Arago back to Webster, Johnson, and then the number 5 of Johnson there as well. Hobby, Bywater, Hindle, Benford, Michael Clemente, another Benford there as well. Faulkner, Oliver, Scarf, Panowich, Carpenter, Morris, Stafford, Simpson, Webster, Matheson, Arnold, Heil, and Martin, rounding out our top 25 competitors. 38 of them take their spot on the grid, and they still pour onto the grid. It's a long wait if you're on the front row of the 2019 XL Nationals. Not too far now, Nathan.
No, it's a big field. We've lost a couple over the weekend, but the driving standards overall have been fantastic with such a big field.
There's South Australia's most successful, the number 18 there, the check it out of Asher Johnson, winning pretty much all of the awards throughout this last calendar year. Doing a tremendous job. He's got one of our fellow commentators, Richard Crail's support on the side there. The Race Talk website, check that out. Red lights on, and it will be Ben Grice that just sneaks away at the jump there to Arago. And they stream on up, all moving over to the extreme right-hand side of the track to see who's going to get the first run down in. They start to move out, fan out now across the track to take the ultimate racing line. It's looking down the inside there. The number 5 having a real good look at it. It's the Johnson car doing a nice job. They all line up, get through there very, very well indeed. And cars just making their way very gingerly through there. No Cam Wilson to be noticed in that front bit of the field. Here he comes right down the back there. Had challenges this morning and a spear off there. The 45 goes straight over into the dirt, and that's Martin. So we've got an early contender out. Here comes Clemente. He's got the brothers right alongside, Nathan. These two like to get physical with each other.
Yeah, Bywater's got caught up with James Benford there, and I think Clemente once again has picked up the scraps, being sensible and staying clean. Both of those cars look like they've got away.
That was lucky for Bywater there, getting jabbed in the side there. There's a 26 and 100 off. We were just commenting on how good the driving standards were. The Wins car, it joins back on. The Arrow car also gets back on. The number 10 and continues on away with their race. So not a great start on the opening lap for Stibbs there, relegated to the back of the field.
And the Vape Boss car, he won't be very happy. He's been pretty strong up there all weekend.
So a couple of the strong contenders getting mixed up down there at the 6. There's Cam Wilson. Let's keep an eye out. Cam Wilson may have himself the Brakes and More Hard Charger Award at the end of this race.
It's there for the taking, that's for sure, and it'll be good to see with all of his experience whether he can manage the tyres better than some of the others. We don't often go for a race as long as this in itself. A few people have to come to terms with it, but a few people struggling already going off track there.
Ben Grice leading the way for Motoring Legends of Australia and Hind Transport. Does these dual titles this year with the Toyota 86s, running in conjunction with the Supercar Tour, and of course running in the Victorian Series. He's also run a couple of races here, of course, I guess a practice weekend in the State Series earlier on this in September.
Yeah, he did indeed. Came over and showed us how it's done with a clean sweep state round. Over just noticed Danny Arago just letting him know he's still behind him, giving him a bit of button twist. Look at these guys, they're all trying to break the toe from each other to see if they can get away. The train snaking their way down. Clemente's at the back of that pack trying to find his way through. And the Enright car coming through, a 14-year-old. youngest in the field. And look at this thing. This green car, number 13. We might see that a bit later, but it's remnants of the Dick Johnson big banger from the early 80s.
Getting some shots back down through the field here. The number 70.
Aaron Oliver and the Penrite car there, 14-year-old driver. Didn't actually do our first round this at the start of the season because you need to be 14 to start racing. So he had his 14th birthday and then he's joined us.
Scarf and Panowich, Benford and Morris at the back of that pack.
Yeah,
Cam Wilson lifting the gold wheels off the back of the deck there. Just going to have a quick look where he's up to. 17th. 17th, that's a big push.
3 abreast through here, that's a big call. 3 abreast even after a couple of laps. The run's pushing hard, dropping the position. The LJ Hooker car here had a big moment in this morning's race. Stellar effort to get that car back on track and looking straight. There's the Check It Out car, one of the better presented cars out here. Check It Out graphics, obviously.
Of course, we're here to celebrate the Misch's Mechanical XL Nationals for 2019. Teams have travelled from all over the country. Victoria, of course, the local teams in SA, Queensland, New South Wales, all represented as part of the Nationals here this weekend. Number 21 streaming through without naming right sponsor on the side there, the Misch's Mechanical.
Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 cars that come out of the Misch's Mechanical stable. Like they just love this series. Joined us about a year ago, and they just keep growing and growing. More friends and family joining the category.
Now, Nathan, we touch on that. There's that number 13 again in the old DJR Greens Tough livery. Pretty smart looking retro type of livery there, taking into the Hyundai XL Nationals, or the XL Nationals here this weekend. We were just talking off air, the camaraderie and the friendship and the ability to help each other and the social aspect away from the super competitive stuff of XL racing is a really strong part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Everybody gets along, and we actually see Tom Benford here in the Vape Boss NZ car. After that previous race where there was a couple of cars with some damage, before the driver had even come back to see his car.
Have a look at this, across the start-finish line, 5 wide. They've just ducked back into 3 wide, but they're all starting to find their way out into the corner. It's the 47 sporting a whole lot of damage on the front end there, and that's Brock Giblin. We know Brock Giblin on the Nationals did a lot of production car race. Have a look at this. This is almost NASCAR.
So this is a shake-up. This is the first time somebody's got ahead of Grice. This is the top 5 cars side by side. It's almost like they're forming up for a rolling start.
It certainly is. It looks like they're getting themselves set like a national sports sedan race or something. And this is it. This is the first time that Daniel Arago has challenged Gricey for the lead, and he's got through, and looks like Asher Johnson wanting to go with them here as well. The 37 of Webster lining up to have a crack at Gricey as well.
I wonder if he's got an issue there, or there's a bit of a tactic with tyre pressures. Obviously, tyre pressures are quite sensitive here, and they might be playing a bit of a long race, hoping for the car to come on towards the end.
I actually find it quite entertaining with Ben Grice because he's a pretty tall fella, and watching him coil himself up to get into one of the XLs, they've had to mount that the main hoop quite a long way back so he can fit his big frame in this car.
Yeah, look, I'm probably about 100 kilos already. When I fit into one of these things.
We go down to Emma in pit lane.
Yeah, just down checking in with Alexandra Whitley. It wasn't the greatest start to your weekend, but a 9th and 2 11ths. How'd you feel with your performance?
Yeah, the car was great. It was good to come back to a track that I'd been to before. It was kind of a step forward. Fortunately, we didn't get much practice as we had power issues, so qualifying was effectively our practice, but we just kept moving forward all weekend, just trying to maximise on the opportunities. I really felt a lot more comfortable and within myself and the car, and we were battling with the guys, so it's great to be further up the field and just cracking that top 10.
We really love watching you race this season. You've just improved and improved every single round. Highlight for you?
Yeah, there's lots of highlights. I mean, I've learned a lot. I've learned how to read data and learnt the slick tyres and the front-wheel drive. I've met some amazing people. NBC's really looked after me the last couple of rounds. This is a really great atmosphere, and it's been really enjoying being part of the series.
Thanks, Alexandra.
Thanks.
Thanks very much, Emma. Well done, Alexandra. We hope to see her back in TCR land next year. We've got a big battle going on at the front, and in fact there's some real battle packs starting to play out. These are the class of the crop of 2019 as we know it so far, Nathan, aren't they?
Definitely. So Arago was in front for about a lap there, and Grice has just got him back, but you can see that Arago certainly got him within reach. sticking his nose in left, sticking his nose in right, trying to find a clean way to get past him.
Now, we know that the Federal tyre has been durable. It's used across the nation. What else on these cars is controlled? What else can you exercise your engineering experience or ingenuity in?
So the suspension is controlled in that there's only a number of packages and they've all got a price cap on them, what you can put in the car. Still allows a bit of adjustability so you can learn how to set up a car. Certainly all the safety requirements need to be met, with roll cage and seat and harness and all that good stuff. And the engines are as close to stock. They can be reconditioned. That's where some people get start a little bit cheeky, but our tech crew are all over it this weekend, keeping an eye.
This is a great battle. This is right at the very pointy end of the field. We've got out to nearly 40 cars running here in this race, so they're all having their battle within the battle. And we mentioned earlier, in fact, there was some chit-chat around the media centre, and they said it seemed like it was the World Championship of XLs for about 10 different races right throughout the field. But this one certainly is not going all the own way. 3 laps into the other races this weekend, Ben's been able to skate away to out over a second lead. And let me tell you, when you look at that, a 1 second lead in XL racing is massive. These 5 cars are enveloped by under a second.
Oh, that's right. It's great to see them all so close. There's been a bit of tyre management going on over the weekend, so everybody's obviously going and putting their optimal tyres on, get them through this race. And you can see Clemente, who's been working his way slowly and safely through the field, back of this lead pack.
I tell you what, he's like the great white shark in this one. He's hunting them down. He's smelling the blood at the front of the race, and this is the first time he's actually been able to see where the race leaders are. They follow the train in a line across there. Clemente is the one at the back there in the high-tech oils car, just on the back of this pack. Sorry, not at the back of the field, but on the back of this pack. Earlier yesterday, he was right at the very back of the pack. Just watching Cam Wilson now into 11th place from the back of the field. So in 4 laps, he's made it through 30 cars to find his way well and truly into contention of this race. There he is right there, 125.
Someone must have told him about the hard charger award. He's having a red hot crack at it. You can see the LJ Hooker car again here sticking his nose out. As we said before, a lot of people have gone and helped get that car back together. A fellow competitor already had spare parts on the ground before the driver even got back to the car. And that's the kind of thing that we love in this category. Everybody helps each other out. All the cars are the same. You can share bits and pieces. Get out, race, and get home safely.
So you're, Nathan, you're involved obviously locally here in South Australia, and you have your state rounds both here at the Bend and at that beautiful facility at Malala. I've got to get back there at some stage. Love that place. What's the championship looks like for 2020? How many rounds have you got?
5 rounds in South Australia. We've got 3 at Malala and 2 at the Bend. Each state seems to have a trophy round, so we've got a special trophy round at Malala in the middle of the year, the Ryan Panowitz Memorial Trophy. We have heats, we have mixed grids, and we have prizes. It's the richest race in Australia with the most prizes, and it's a great festival.
So you just mentioned the trophy race there. The car currently sitting in P3, the reigning champion, the Check It Out car of Asher Johnson. Also did a tremendous job at Mount Panorama in the XLs there, representing South Australia. Very parochial, proud South Australian, and good to see he comes a very parochial and proud Victorian with number 1 emblazoned on the door. Got the Macca's logo in there as well. As Asher gets wide and takes the 37 of Webster off, and there's Clemente. He can see the lead. The number 1. He has raced hard as anything. I'm going to use a different word there. You can't use on air, but he's raced as hard as against the guy that's leading this race in the state rounds in Victoria. Of course, there's 5 rounds been announced for the Victorian Series this year as well. 2 at the Islands, 2 at Sandown, and 1 at Winton. And often we see, like Ben travelled over here, we'll see the interstate competitors come and run and be welcome in the other states' local series.
Yeah, we encourage everybody to travel and experience other tracks. So this is a great category to do it because, again, all the spare parts are the same. Travel interstate. And we've got state series running in WA, Tasmania, Queensland, working on Northern Territory at the moment. So there is Circuit Excel racing everywhere in the country, the territory coming soon.
And we were just talking with a gentleman that here in South Australia ran a pretty much standard one in the South Australian Rally Championship as well.
He did. He's a unique person, but yeah, he ran a standard single cam one in an ARC come and try round and got his biggest air. So there's a lot of people behind these Excels that have a great old time. Heaps of spare parts available. Good fun racing.
I tell you what, those watching back in Victoria, big cheers out now for Michael Clemente as he starts to join the back of this pack with fellow Victorian, expat Queenslander Ben Grice, calls Victoria home, shares his business, his sign writing business Benny Grice does with none other than Les Small, and Les here at the track with Ben this weekend, making sure that car points in the right direction. But the number one car, will he maintain that role? Will he still have that plate on the side of this car? He made it very hard this weekend for himself by not qualifying, coming off the back of the grid, had exams to do. We can always go racing, but you only get one chance to get those exams right, don't you?
No, that's right. He's made a good call by doing his exams, but he's having a red-hot go at trying to retain that title as well. And they've got some exciting stuff coming next year, not quite ready to announce, but out for that young Michael Clemente. He is going places. He will be a driver to watch in coming years.
Certainly we've seen some of the big names in Australian motorsport. And I mentioned Paul Morris and his son, and Dick Johnson and his son, who unfortunately, Steve Johnson, his son, not racing with us here this weekend. But Steve was a bit disappointed when I caught up with him in the lift heading up to upstairs earlier on in the weekend. But he said there's plenty of Johnsons out there. He can have plenty of fun with it.
No, definitely. And there is a car back in the pack that's got a tribute livery akin to one of Dick Johnson's cars. And interesting story about that car. He built that in just recent months. And I was talking to the paddock. He spent about $7,000 or $8,000 to build the car and get it on the road. And he's out here having an absolute ball.
That's car number 13 we've been referring to. Currently sitting in position number 32 in the race, so Gregory Stutt, and car does look $1 million, but this is the battle at the front. Clemente now coming under fire with South Australia's finest Asher Johnson down the inside. The High-Tech Oils car goes wide at 6. Now this could be the old switcheroo here, because you go high, you get a better exit speed, hopefully carry the momentum through to the 9, 10, 11, 12 complex of corners. Doesn't look like it. Looks like Asher Johnson has found the pace as Ben Grice has maintained his spot in the lead. Dropped back into P2 for a couple of laps to Daniel Arago, but maintains his spot at the front of the race now for at least the last 2 laps or so. But here comes Asher Johnson.
We've seen some cracking racing with these two side by side at the bend earlier this year. There's a couple of videos online where you see them side about 2 laps, changing positions, half a dozen times every lap. Fantastic to see.
That's the beauty of a nice, wide, modern track, isn't it? You can get around side by side. I don't think you'd want to try and do that at Mallala, because at some point you come down to Clubhouse and you've got to do through the wiggle. And that doesn't work side by side through there.
Yeah, well, I think you'll find that Asher does some of the graphics on the High-Tech Oils car. So when the High-Tech Oils car touches the wall, he has to replace the stickers as well. So they give each other a bit of room. Everybody gets along in the circuit itself. Great place to come and enjoy racing.
Benny Grice now just lifting the inside right-hand wheel.
Tony Arago staying in touch with him. He'll be pretty happy. They've been shooting that car up all weekend. That XNE clutch car is a brand new car, had a shakedown last weekend, and clearly they found something to go and stay in touch with Grice this weekend.
Yeah, Daniel Arago's doing a tremendous job. It can be hard to be jammed up the exhaust pipe of the car in front of you for every lap after lap after lap. We've just seen him zip out, get a good bit of fresh air, fill the cabin up with some good clean oxygen to be able to concentrate through the next 9 laps remaining in this race. Replay.
Way out wide there, big save. Comes back on in front of Brock Gibbler. Brock Gibbler is one of the fast Queenslanders. Had a bit of a tough run the first couple of races. A bit too much race tape on that car, but he's finding his way through. Well, there's the Morris car. Nash Morris car. Loves grassroots motorsport, his dad does, and looks like Nash is checking out the grass himself.
Yeah, that Dale Carpenter car in the 111 went off there, came on in front of Brock Giblin. Big g'day to Brock and his family. I've seen many years of racing with Brock at the Shannons Nationals in various different classes. And there's one, had a bit of a blood nose, bit of a black eye for the car of Brock.
Trying to hold it together. I'm not sure if he's getting anything rubbing on his tyre there. There's a fair few laps to go, so want to hang on to that. And Brock's of a gentlemanly. If myself or Brock can fit in a car, anyone can fit in it.
They just watching Brock Giblin not wearing out the left-hand rear tyre too much, holding it up in the air all the way through turn 14.
Good strategy.
Yeah, keep the wear down on that one. Here's our race leader, the number 66, Ben Grice. Big red hands up in the air. A couple of stabs at getting the car through the corner. Carrying a lot of breakthrough there, mid-corner, not getting out of it there. So could be nursing some tyres there, staying on the brake a little bit longer just to try and keep the car weighted over its four wheels rather than popping them up in the air.
Also,
and the brakes now, big transfer of weight.
Probably trying to keep the revs up as much as possible with only just over 60. Hard and up on the cam. Danny Errigo, is he staying in touch with him or is he going to toe? I think he's dropped back a little bit further. Michael Clemente settling in with Asher. I wonder if these guys are going to make a breakthrough or work together.
I tell you what, at this point in time, with 8 laps remaining, work together, boys, because these two out in front have eased out nearly a 4-second gap to them. So that at that point, you've got to work with everyone around you. And I would suggest that these two are just having a little bit of a feel out of each other in the middle of this race, just to see who's got what underneath them. The lap time of Ben Grice last lap around was the fastest lap of the race, so he has reapplied his authority at 2:22.0, at 2:22.24 for Daniel Errigo. So the last lap, they've turned the wick up. Have a look at Michael Clemente now. There's nothing between it. Asher Johnson, Clemente, the 18 and the 1 for High Tech Oils. The Victorian, Michael Clemente, just hanging in there. These are our leaders, Ben Grice and Daniel Errigo. Don't look to be attacking those two. They just seem to be working it out. We'll have plenty of time with 2 laps to go to get physical with it. Great battles going on right throughout this race. Plenty of battles going on back down in the lesser places in this race. There's for the last spot on the podium for the 2019 Misch's Mechanical XL Nationals, who will get the Hard Charger Award at the moment. Let's have a look at Cam Wilson watch. Yes, P10, 30 spots.
Yeah, Gretrix started a fair way back in the grid as well, but he's up to 11, so they really are having a race there.
Line astern of each other, aren't they? Pulling each other through the field.
I wonder if the guys are in the radio letting them know that there's a brake line kit from Brakes and More on the line for the Hard Charger Award. Got Asher and Clemente continuing the dice that they've had all year in the SA season.
Gricey's eased it out to 1.28 seconds now. He is really responding to this mid-race slow that it was for about 3 laps ago.
Wide achiever there is Webster. Webster's just staying on the back of Clemente and Johnson. That car was awarded the best presenter, not only for the car but the crew, their apparel, and just their good conduct around the category. So it's great to have some really good-looking family outfits out here having a good solid race.
They really stand out, don't they? When you go to an effort, the teams really stand out when they do a good job of it, and that really ought to be congratulated for presenting themselves so well in the West End Mazda outfit.
It looked like Nash Morris just rejoined the field out of pit lane, so he's a lap down, I guess, after his off-track excursion. Yeah. Hey, Asher still line astern. Ding-dong battles happening further back in the field. In this category, the beauty is, doesn't matter where you are in the field, there is a battle just about to the death, whether it's for first, 10th, or 30th.
Joel Johnson there in the Autobahn car. doing well, currently sitting in 7th place.
Dropped out of the top 5, that was his objective, but he's still in touch with but
Morris just keeping out of the way there of the front runners, just staying off the racing line. That's very, very gentlemanly of him. Well done, should be congratulated. He has no part in trying to battle with these guys now that he's down the field, so staying out of their way and not ruining their race is a very mature decision there. Asher Johnson, Michael Clemente, that's Webster, Hindle, Joel Johnson, Hobby, Cam Wilson, Len Greckricks. That's our 10 for the 2019 XL Nationals, brought to us by Misch's Mechanical, Adelaide-based workshop, and they, over the last 12 months, quite prolific builders of XL circuit racing cars.
Yeah, as I said, they're just bringing friends and family along, and once they've built one, everybody else wants to have a crack, and it tends to happen. We see a newcomer build a car, come along and join the series, and in a year we've got 2 or 3 others of friends and family. It really is for everybody. How Gricey's lap times are going. Looks like he's pulling away from Erigo a bit there. Either Gricey's car's coming to him, or Erigo's car's just slipping away from him.
So 2:22.58 for Ben Grice last time around, 2:22.9. Everyone else is, there's a few cars inside the 10 that have managed to get down to the 22s, but they're now starting to drop out into the 23s. The tyres had, let's say, nothing short of a punishing weekend. So at this point in time, or even before this point in time, a fair bit of tyre management would have been talked about within the teams.
Definitely, they'll be managing their tyre wear, and then importantly over this longer race, they'll be managing their tyre pressures to work out when they want the car to come in the window, whether it's earlier or later. And also another thing that's been interesting this week, rubber laid down on the road by the S5000s and the TCR cars is a bit different to what we're used to. So the way the cars have behaved has been something for these front teams to get their head around. Here's the battle for the hard charger. Both Getrix and Cam Wilson have started further back in the grid, and so they've got lights on there.
So Wilson, there's a big dive here for the 42.
Tom Bedford.
Returning from the first lap melee as well. So Greckricks nearly got through on Wilson then, and Wilson got through on Greckricks, and then Greckricks trying to fight back. They've all lined up behind the 125.
And the Karate Kid's in there. The National Karate car there, number 90. Been getting a bit of driver tuition from other people this year, and he's going hard. Oh no, this is tragic.
Oh, Daniel Derrigo.
The car
two.
is parking it up early. New car has been doing some excellent times there. The Hydro Kingdom car looks like it's been retired for the weekend. That would be heartbreaking.
That is not what we wanted to see. That is such a shame. Daniel Errigo has driven massively this weekend, done a great job. Ben Grice now starting to move the car around. He won't want to do that too often, or has he looked in the mirror and gone, what has happened? I've just got myself a life-saving break over the field. And I know Ben pretty well. He wouldn't have liked to have seen the demise of Daniel Errigo. He would have liked to have continued to race him with the pressure being applied.
He would have been enjoying that battle for sure.
That's a shame for Daniel Errigo. There's always next year, but that doesn't help you when you're crying in your soup after a DNF in this one.
And we've still got this train of 3 cars. I get the feeling that they're maybe trying to work together with another few laps to go to see if they can close up that gap. The gap has grown though, with Danny Errigo dropping out of it.
I've got to say that this is very, very sensible stuff. And with 5 laps remaining, I reckon you've got 3 laps, guys, to continue to work with each other. Because if you start to mess each other up, you're going to have each other off at this point in time.
There might be a bit of sense and sensibility as well. We do have some enduros coming up at the back end of the season, so there's an endurance race coming up in Victoria next month, and there's be a couple of enduros next year where we can get more people to come over and co-drive in these cars.
How far? I mean, these cars don't have dry brake systems, but how far can the tank carry? We've done...
At most tracks, we see them go to an hour, up to an hour and a half on a tank of fuel. So a mini enduro event, you can run the car with like a 5-minute, say, compulsory pit stop. You can safely refuel the car, or you can have an enduro where you've got separate 1-hour races where the cars go to Parc Fermé. So there's some creative formats where we can make it work so that we don't need to have all the expensive infrastructure that the big teams have.
Yeah, once you start getting dry brake systems, that's a pretty heavy commitment as far as that's concerned. So we have 5 laps remaining. Ben Grice has brought his A-game to the Bend Motorsport Park this weekend. He's had his own way in qualifying and the previous 3 races this weekend. The feature race is what we're watching now.
One of the Misch Mechanicals, that's one of their own cars. And there's here a bit of a Stone Brothers. It's actually not Stone Brothers, it's Stooge Brothers Racing.
Oh no, the 27 in the wall. Into the wall. And that is Ian Harvey, the 27 car for Sim Ford Motorsport, into the wall.
And there's a great... Oh no, was that too early? That's his teammate there. There was a great group, the Simford guys. I think there's 4 cars in their stable over from Victoria, having a red hot crack, and certainly one of the cars in the wall. We're going to go to safety car here.
Ah no, that's not what we wanted. We've gone so well this weekend. The safety car can be a fair feature of XL Racing. We've got the medical car being deployed as a course of the safety car being scrambled as well, so that's a real shame. We'll see the appropriate Hyundai i30N will pace the field. Here comes the i30N out. I've really enjoyed Hyundai's involvement with the safety car across the Shannons Nationals landscape, and even better that Paul Gates from Shannons Insurance has made his way to the track here today to announce another 2 years with Motorsport Australia, the artist formerly known as CAMS, and we will see. We'll go to an ad break.
Everyone needs a bit of space. Sometimes more, and sometimes less. From personal space to breathing space, a creative space, outer space, space for more, and even the ever-elusive parking space. If you're looking for your happy space, you just might know the perfect place.
Every day, 3,500 lives are lost on roads around the world. Driving can be dangerous, but there are simple rules we can follow that will make our roads safer and save lives. Slow down for kids. Don't text and drive. Always pay attention. Obey the speed limits. Stop when you are tired. Never drink and drive. Check your tires. Rules keep us alive.
Your life is in your hands. Respect the rules.
Exactly. Just like this. Hard work, looks like this. Determination, yeah, you got the skills, got those two. You're right where we belong, right? And we aren't going anywhere. Right? Feels good. Let's get used to get the rules. Be different. Be different. Be different. Be different. See our stories? As theirs be different?
Stay in the moment, they say, but you're 4 steps ahead. Executing plans you've rehearsed countless times before, and moving on to the next thing. Because if you think you're done, you've only just begun. At never stop thinking about her next move. Or yours.
When I was a kid, I loved cars.
I've been a motoring enthusiast all my life. My life is hot rods, designing them, building them, and racing.
Hand built with a stainless steel roof. They've won the Monte Carlo Rally 4 times.
Like Dad, I've always been a Ford man.
In 71, this was the fastest four-door car in the world.
Insurance? Shannons, of course.
Well, there it is, the number 27, the Simpson car, the Sim Ford Motorsport outfit. We think, Nathan, at this moment, that it may have been a team car that was involved with this excursion off.
I cannot confirm, but I certainly saw a very similar looking car with a different number in the grass as well. But great group of guys met them this weekend from Victoria. Been in the series for about a year and they're loving it. They're looking to travel around the countryside and do some racing as well.
Well, here's the universal quality of the Circuit XLs is that you put the tailgate up and you can pick the shopping up on the way home as well.
Well, actually, to be honest, they're really good for storing all your spare parts and all your equipment when you go to and from the track. That's where all your tools and all your spare tyres and everything live. They're a perfect car.
So we have the ANCAP safety car. Let's hope for the final time this weekend. And in fact, this is the first time we've seen the safety car at the final round of the 2019 Shannons Nationals. And we've seen it numerous times throughout the year. But the I-30N has served us very, very well. And ANCAP do us a tremendous job as well. Hashtag SN19. We've only got a matter of hours left that one will live for. The Facebook, Shannons Nats on Twitter, and of course Instagram. We love the Instagram. Send us your photos, send us your comments. We'd love to hear from you. We certainly learn a lot from our interactions with our social media and our fans out there, the teams, and just about everybody likes to jump on and give us a pat on the shoulder or tell us where we went, good, bad, or indifferent. So hashtag SN19. We'd love to hear from you as we wind down the time for the 2019 Shannons Nationals. Of course, this is what's gripping our nation at the moment. Unfortunately, the number one story across the country. You can help the Queensland and New South Wales communities, and even across in the West, I believe there's some concerns with fires as well. So it's very early in the season, and via thenationals.com.au/donate. CAMS are certainly jumping on board with trying to assist where we can with donations. So please help us to do that. It's a horrible position to be into and can stay with you for a long, long time if you're getting property and possessions damaged by wildfires, bushfires, that sort of thing. So please donate to help the people recover from the bad stuff that's going on up in northern New South Wales, Queensland. And the state national nominations for the Motorsport Awards for 2019 coming up, presented by Bursons. I'm just getting a little whisper in my ear saying that will be that. We won't be going to a restart for the 2019 XL Nationals. The safety car has brought the field under control. We're starting to run a little bit long on time. So I guess we're just going to get confirmation with a checkered flag from the start line. It will be. So that will be that, Nathan.
Yeah, so they'll bring them over the line for the checkered flag, and that'll be the results of the XL Nationals. You know, it's a shame, but we are in a time-certain program here. As I said earlier, there's that great green car that Dick Johnson tribute. $7 or $8 grand he spent to go and build that car, and he is out here racing this weekend. Some guy that's probably spent a little bit more on the car and a little bit more development with his engineering support, etc., is Ben Grice, who has had a clean sweep of the races this weekend.
Certainly built the big broom, didn't he, all the way over from the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Gricey took out qualifying and every race this weekend, set the fastest lap of this race at a 2:22 dead, and has certainly shown to be 2019 the class of this field. And I tell you what, it's a big step to step onto. Where did Cam Wilson end up in the end? To 9th. And Gregoric's got to 7th, so it's up to you guys now to work out who the hard charger is.
Yeah, I have to look at where they started and where they finished, but yeah, that hard charger award could be pretty close.
So these are the provisional results up on screen now. So it's Benjamin Gricey to his mates behind Motor Racing, takes out the 2019 Circuit XL Nationals, does a terrific job. Asher Johnson, who has won just about everything in SA, comes home in P2. Michael Clemente hands the number 1 plate over to Benny Boy and will come back, I'm sure, bigger and better and stronger in everything he does in the future. Cooper Webster to Aaron Hindle, Joel Johnson, Liam Gregoric's in 7th there, rounding out the 10 was Benford, Wilson and Zanuck. 11th, Jackson Faulkner. Aaron Oliver, Brock Giblin home in 13th. There's another hard charge as well.
Brock Giblin did a stellar job. He had some troubles earlier the weekend. He's come back up there from Queensland.
Yep, charging there. Adam Bywater, Sean Panowich, Dale Carpenter, Lee Stubbs, rounding out the 20, Roger Arnold, Shane Nowicki, Rob Zanetti, Richard Chaseling, and in 25th, Gregory Stutt, rounding out the top 25 in the Circuit XL Nationals for 2019. A big thanks to Misch's Mechanical. A big thanks to you, Nathan Green, for all of your expertise. And we will stay tuned on the social medias as to see who gets the Brakes and More Hard Charger Award. And congratulations to all involved with the XLs throughout 2019. It's just coming back under control to the pit lane, and I dare say Parc Ferme will be an interesting place now. They always are in Nationals, and One Make Racing to see that.
One Make Racing indeed. We've got a great technical team that will be crawling all over these cars to make sure that everything... I'd just like to thank all of the officials this weekend that made this work, and all of the other CAMS clubs, obviously our Excels clubs, but all of the CAMS clubs that make all of these events possible.
And there it is. Let's make it official there. Well, let's make it provisionally official.
Provisionally official.
Ben Grice is the 2019 Circuit XL champion, and that has been a sad way to finish the Nationals, but it is done and dusted. We'll be back more with the final race for the Australian production cars, but of course we bid you adieu from the Nationals here at Tailem Bend for 2019. We'll see you in 2020.